Where are we within this crypto cycle? Are we going to pump? Are we going to dump? Is this your last chance to be getting into positions? Well, we're going to address this and a whole lot more in today's show. And I thought I'll start off over here with the ETF flows, which have once again flipped positive for the first time in a very, very long time. You can see the marked upflow over there going now into consecutive positive days. And as Quinton says over here, breaking US Bitcoin ETFs had a net inflow of $217 million worth yesterday, and not one of the ETFs had a single outflow. Even Grayscale, which has been obviously selling a whole lot, has had an inflow of $3.9 million. Now, that's quite a mystery. We'll try and uncover what that could mean, why it is, and ultimately, let's get into the show. Where are we within the cycle? What exactly is taking place in the short term, the medium term, and the long term? What can you expect in the days to come? Will you get Bitcoin going back down to $60,000 again for a second opportunity to buy the dip? Well, stay until the very end of the show. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We are definitely one of the quickest growing, highest alpha channels out there in the entire world. And if you look at the Banter bubble chart over here, this is what the picture looks like, right? So it's been very, very choppy. The chop will continue on the low time frames until such time as Bitcoin breaks and clears above that $66,000 level. And if I looked at this chart probably 30 minutes before this live session right now, all of these bubbles were red, right? So that is, of course, supportive of that chop continuing. You have the daily as well, obviously a slight pullback after most coins pushed into resistance yesterday, which is exactly what we outlined was going to be the case. The weekly, though, is still up, with some of the outliers being WorldCoin, Render. We have Jupiter also, which is actually been putting in some of the highest volumes as on the dexes out there. So that's pretty good. And then we have WIF up as well at 23%. So what exactly is taking place? Well, first and foremost, there was a very, very big move from the stock markets yesterday, which is super positive for crypto because of the correlation between crypto and those stock markets. Generally speaking, when the stock markets go up, that signals a risk on environment. And ultimately, that means it's pretty good for crypto. So it gives you more probability that crypto will probably rebound from these low levels as opposed to flush out all the way to the downside and break the lows. It's so far so good. It looks like there is a possibility for a major macro high low in the making right here on Bitcoin, where last week's candle wick low was placed. S&P 500, NASDAQ, both breaking above that very, very significant area, which was the prior support that was lost, then flipped into resistance, put in a higher low, bounced, reclaimed, and now so long as it holds above these levels, it should be looking good for continuation higher. So where are we within the really, really high time frame cycle? Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever seen this chart before. Say yes or no in the comments. I am busy monitoring it right now live as we go. Very, very interesting chart. Now, this was created over 100 years ago, and it's eerily accurate. It's crazy how precise it's been in terms of timing the different market phases. Now, really, we're in this phase over here where we had the 2023 low, and ultimately, you're looking for continuation higher up all the way into 2026. You come back down for what we call the Great Reset, right into that 2030. You will own nothing and you will be happy. And then we go into a form of renaissance where you just up only from then into a major, major bull run into 2035. So just an interesting chart. I thought I'd bring it to your attention. There is a lot of channels that have reported on this. So if you want more information, just go look it up. You'll find it pretty easily by Googling that 100-year time frame chart. And let's continue. Okay, Bitcoin over here, you can see MACD is starting to pull back ever so slightly. Bitcoin on the left, ETH on the right-hand side. But most importantly, we now officially have the full bullish posturing of all of the different moving averages. Now, I said I wouldn't bring this chart up again until it was relevant. This is the first time now that we've actually got those crosses towards the upside, where you have the 20 moving average on the monthly crossing above the 50 moving average, and that's for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you have the 7 moving average holding and governing that uptrend above those 20 and 50 MA. So all in all, that's pretty good. That's solid. We'll continue to monitor that. There's been the back test on Ethereum into that 7 moving average, bouncing off that level of support. Now we expect to see a bit more of a consolidation. So Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is definitely the raft of safety. Let's have a very, very quick watch on this video over here. This came out from Trudeau from Canada, obviously saying that he wants to now tax old people, especially high net worth old people, because their money is working for them, right? And they want to rebalance things, socialist tax everywhere, right? And this is ultimately from his mouth. This is what he had to say. Okay, you guys say you can't hear. Let's just continue. So basically saying that they've raised the capital gain tax, the inclusion rate of people that will be going into the capital gains bracket. They've raised that limit, ultimately meaning that a lot more people are going to be considered for capital gains. And ultimately, this is causing a lot of uproar within Canada. And there's an easy opt-out function, right? The easy opt-out function is Bitcoin, right? It really is that simple, as the Bitcoin therapist says over here. Bitcoin goes up, gold pretty much has been sideways, and fiat is just going down to zero for infinity, right? 99.9% down. Most fiat currencies fail within the first 100 years. So opt in and opt out, right? Opt into Bitcoin, opt out of the fiat system. And here's just another simple analogy of why we play this game, why we're still here. From 2015, looking at the inflation rate in US dollar terms for an ordinary house, 262,000, then 325,000, 455,000, and now currently in 2024, just over $500,000. Now, if you measure that in Bitcoin terms, you can see the way that Bitcoin is eating into this inflation and ultimately absorbing a lot of the debt, right? In the sense that what previously would have cost, let's say not even so long ago, 100 Bitcoin in 2018 for that same home would now only be 8.9 Bitcoin. So that's ultimately your opt-out opportunity, is to opt into Bitcoin and opt out of the fiat world. But looking back at Bitcoin and Ethereum over here, you can see, of course, we have been going through a consolidation phase with price contracting again. The BBWP is squeezing back towards those lows, and we haven't even reached close to where the extremities are, right? The extremities are when you see the lower bands over here printing all the way up, so reaching all the way to the top side over here and printing in that 100th percentile mark. This is ultimately where you know that the runs are nearing their end, and we haven't even got close to that. We've had nice, beautiful expansions, recontraction, expansion, recontraction, ultimately a very, very, very healthy market. And when you look at Ethereum, which is on the left-hand side, I know that there's obviously a lot of disappointment in Ethereum for this cycle and the way that it's performed over the course of the last few years. But ultimately, this is now currently coming into the middle of that Bollinger Band, which is going to be a significant level. The exact zone on the weekly time frame for Ethereum as of today is $3,012. If you look over here at Bitcoin, it's going to be coming in at $57,000. That is also going to be significant support over there. So just keep that in the back of your mind for the higher time frame. Also, based on these periods of expansion and recontraction, the recontraction has flushed out a lot of the leverage, which is very, very good. A reminder, the stock market put in a major low in the month of October last year. And if you look at the Bitcoin 3-month annualized basis in terms of the funding rates and the open interest, it's been fully reset, right? Back to the same levels that we saw in October, which obviously was pre this massive rally that we've had. So very, very healthy signs for the longer term growth of the market. And consequently, the way that I'm viewing this is the yellow box zone that I've highlighted over here is simply going to be viewed a few months from now as the consolidation or the order block, which created a strong base of support and led to the next mega move out of there. So that is my personal personal expectation would be that this is the high probability play. You'll probably continue to consolidate into this level, and then later on you will leave this range with a big move towards the upside, expanding who knows how high, possibly even towards that $100,000 mark. So as long as price remains above the wick low, you have a very simple invalidation on your longs, meaning that you're wrong. If price goes below this level, you can start to get out of your long positions. Otherwise, every single little dip that takes place in the short term from here onwards, in my personal opinion, is a buy the dip opportunity. And if I obviously change my bias based on new information around that in the weeks to come, I will update you. I will update you if my system says to exit all longs. As it currently stands, my system has put me fully long into this trade based on this candle that started to develop over here at $17,100, and I haven't closed a single one of those Bitcoin long positions ever since then. Right, so let's continue on over there, long and strong. Here's another perspective. If you look at the different colors, Bitcoin has typically bottomed every cycle right in between the blue and the green, right? The blue and the green over there. Here you have it again, the blue and the green in this cycle. Here's the blue and the green. That was your FTX collapse. And alternatively, it set in its major tops between the red and the blue, which you expect would be somewhere around here. This lines up with a lot of these charts that we're looking at, right? Between 2025 and 2026. If we go back to that, this is ultimately what you're seeing, right? 2026, looking at a major cyclical top coming in over there. It's also in line with the 18.6-year real estate cycle, which has proved to be very accurate in timing the macro highs and lows of this longer term macro market cycle. So all in all, the point of this show is to show you that things are looking pretty decent. We're just moving from spring into summer, and in fall is where you would expect the major distribution to take place. Therefore, we're expecting major expansion, right? We're expecting the volatility to turn back towards the upside, and these ebbs and flows to continue until we see very high levels of overheated, at least on the BBWP, which is the Bollinger Band width percentile. We expect it to reach into the hundreds, at which point we would then be somewhere over here transitioning into fall, which is going to be the red zone, and possibly moving into a new winter, which is where your bear markets take place. And we can look at a whole assortment of different altcoins as well, not just Bitcoin. And I'm going to do that in just a moment. Smash the like button, by the way, guys. It really helps to get the show content out there. Let's see if we can get the show to 1,500 likes in the live session. And hopefully we can finish at over 4,000 likes organically once the show is complete, the live session. So let's have a look. Bitcoin is holding the parabola, as mentioned, expecting a consolidation in that zone. First and most notably, we are above the previous month's low. Now we want to get above last week's high. That would be breaking above the mid-range level and take bulls into the strong territory where new momentum is gained. But I also want to have a look over here at the lower bands, which is going to be your stochastic RSI, which obviously helps to gauge the momentum of the market. So momentum is still on its way down over here, but as soon as you start to reclaim above that mid-range level, breaking above the resistance at 67, you'll expect this to turn up. Now, we can compare accordingly with all the other different coins, and you can see it looks very similar, right? Ethereum at the bottom over there about to turn up. Chainlink also only just starting to cross towards the upside. Cardano also at the bottom. So full reset, right? Solana, as always, one of the first coins out of the gate over there, already breaking above last week's high, which is showing a sign of relative strength. And we'll focus quite a lot on Solana today because it is one of my biggest positions. I've absolutely loaded up a behemoth trade on this around that $125 level, which is exactly what we covered over the last couple of weeks on the live shows over here. Okay, let's go into the high time frame coins, the ones that have enough history. Aptos also crossing towards the upside over there. Atom crossing towards the upside. AVAX crossing towards the upside. And you can see it's unanimous, right? As all these different coins that you go through, this is showing a full reset on momentum over here. And that means that when prices do start to break above their resistance levels, there's a lot more room to get prices higher up and very quickly. It's a psychological reset for the market. TON, obviously, one of the outliers, which had a massive move towards the upside on its way down and not yet at the bottom of those levels. Arbitrum at the bottom, Metis at the bottom, Optimism at the bottom, recently turning up, Stacks literally right at the bottom. If you want a high beta play against Bitcoin without actually taking on leverage on a leveraged trading exchange, so meaning you're not going to trade perpetual long contracts, you could trade Stacks, right? Stacks trades at a much higher beta ratio than what Bitcoin is. So if Bitcoin goes up 1%, Stacks goes up 5-6%. If Bitcoin goes down 1%, Stacks goes down 5 or 6%. Okay, so continuing on over here, this is the major resistance that we need to break through, which is the 50-day moving average governing that downtrend. We've outlined 2 potential scenarios. Scenario 1 would be this one over here, ultimately short-term rejection. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the end of the rejection already, and the next attempt breaks us through that resistance. Alternatively, if you have a proper rejection from this level, over the next 2 weeks, you might find yourself coming all the way back down into the $50,000 support level, which is major support, and that is a strong buy the dip zone. What does that mean for you out there at home? What the hell should you do? Well, ultimately it means that you want to scale your orders in, right? If you get an opportunity to go long over there, you can buy a little bit over there, you can deploy 2/3 over here, so 1/3 there, 2/3 over here, and then you can leave the final bit for the major support, which is coming in at $50,000. As an investor or trader, you don't always need to be 100% in the market. In fact, professional risk managers are very rarely, if ever, 100% deployed into any market at any given point in time. I am, because I live and breathe these markets. I am somebody that has my finger on the pulse of the market. But if you are somebody that doesn't do this full time and you have other sources of income, make sure that you're probably keeping at least 30 to 50% of your capital in the form of USDT or cash, so that when there are major flash crashes, you can buy those dips, right? You don't need to be 100% deployed into the market at any given point in time. All right, let's continue on over here. This is what we're seeing in terms of the range. We had the swing failure pattern. We broke back above the underside resistance, which was prior support. That is a healthy sign showing the swing failure pattern is in fact still intact and in play. Now, range traders would be targeting the mid-range, which is currently coming in at that resistance. It's 67,500. And thereafter, they'll be trading it all the way to the top side of the range and probably even looking for a sweep above there, meaning price should reach into the $74,000 region, and then we can reevaluate. As it currently stands, it's a good sign that we're above the range low. We're also above the pivot level, only marginally. We're above the 200 EMA on the 4-hour time frame, and we're attempting to right now reclaim above the 200 EMA, we're above the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. We're attempting to reclaim the 4-hour 200 EMA, which is the blue line situated over here. I can make it nice and big for you, that one over there. So for bulls to get momentum, get above there. That means you also have a chance to flip back up the yellow, which is the 9 exponential moving average, back above the pink 18 exponential moving average. And this has created a lot of our uptrends, right? You can see the majority of these major moves occurred once you got those crosses, right? So you had a lot of chop and consolidation, very, very similar to what we're seeing right now, right? A lot of chop and consolidation, in, out, in, out, in, out, above those levels. Once you eventually successfully reclaim that level, as was seen over here, what happens next? Big parabolic moves towards the upside, and now we're in the same choppy environment. This is normal in markets, right? Markets range and markets trend. So you go from into an uptrend, into a ranging market, into an uptrend, into a ranging market. Expectation would be you would just continue that path until such time as you actually break down some key high time frame levels and start to establish a downtrend. And then you can say, well, now the market's actually reversing. So slight edge remains in the bull's favor and the bull's court. Now, if you do want to learn more about this, you have exactly 1 day and 6 hours left to register to Whale School. There is a link in the description below. What you'll need to do is, let's quickly pause that. What you'll need to do is go through, scroll down until the section over here where you see it says GUMMY. 5 easy ways to get up to $30 million worth of GUMMY airdrop, or 30 million tokens. I don't know why they keep writing dollars. It's only $30 million if GUMMY hits $1 per token. So 30 million tokens in GUMMY. Go through step number 1, sign up to Whale School. Use that exact link. Please don't Google search it. I don't want you to go onto a nefarious site site that's trying to copy our data and ultimately steal your information, go to that exact link, click it, sign up immediately. You can pause the video. And then other ways that you can get part of that gummy airdrop is by signing up to Bybit, Evo, Blowfin, and Banter Bubbles. All links are below. All right, let's continue. The rest of you, I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, for Whale School. That's going to be live for the workshop tomorrow. We already did the first workshop, which was the welcome event. We had an alpha-packed workshop. Most of you went long on Bitcoin in that workshop because that's where we planned out that trade. And I'll update you tomorrow on what the next bit of alpha is. Okay, let's continue. In terms of reclaiming those key significant levels, also, we're flipping the 50 EMA into support, which is a good sign. The yellow 21 exponential is also above the 50, and that's above the blue, but we need to see the blue one, which is the 200, cross above the 50 to sustain those moves, very similar to what I just spoke about here in terms of this zone. That's where you get the big uptrending moves. Okay, cool. Got that out the way. Let's continue. Let's see longs to shorts. Okay, you can see shorts are starting to try and step into the market at resistance. I mean, that is the way you trade the market. Long support, short resistance. So you have 143 short liquidations versus 303 longs. That gives me a little bit of hope that maybe you could still see a bit of a short squeeze. That's still enough shorts to take out of the market to get price above that level will be pretty explosive. If you look at total 3, of course, you guys know it. We're still maintaining this uptrend over here, and we need to see it get back in the yellow box. Once we break above 830 billion, that's where you see the strong trending moves and altcoins start to outperform the majority of the market. Now, we spoke about a portfolio last week where I ultimately showed you how you can actually use coin market cap and you can find other portfolios of big funds, right? So to take that analysis a step further, some of the top funds are portfolio. You just simply to the search bar on CoinMarketCap, and you should get those options, right? Now, somebody created this quadrant over here, which ultimately shows you want to be playing where the alpha artists are, or the alpha artists, as they've called it over here, because they have the scale ranging from retarded on the bottom to not retarded on the top to degen on the right to normie on the left. So this is where you don't want to be playing with Sequoia, with the Founders Fund. These guys are losing big. On the top left over here, you have Variant, Foundation Capital. These guys are, they're smart, but they're following the, they're trying to right curve it, which we know ultimately is quite difficult in terms of the IQ scale, right curving it on the normie side. Most of the time, they're not on the right curve, but they actually are right dead center in the middle, and they're normies, and they don't make that much money. You want to go on the far degen side. You want to left curve it within a bull run. Remember, I told you that in a bull run, you want to play it with a lower IQ. This is why the meme coin traders make so much money. And then when you start to reach the extremities or the end of the bull run, that's when you want to start to become high IQ again, smart, and start to cut positions, right? So who are the top ones? Well, here you got Jump Capital, you got Paradigm, you got Polychain. You can see the list over here. You got BCap. So go through into this. I've pulled up Paradigm's portfolio. This is their list over here. And then you can actually go and chart those and find adequate entries into those coins. I funded my Bybit account again, so I am starting to get ready to start to open up leverage trades again since the funding's been fully reset, since I believe that we're about to make the next parabolic advancement, right? We're still ranging. Yes, we're still ranging, and we could for the next 2 to 4 weeks. But if you remember what this portfolio on leverage looked like not so long ago, we had positions up as high as 40,000%. 40,000% gains, multiple positions, at least a dozen of those positions were up over 5,000% each. So sign up using the link in the description below. Get your Bybit account ready. This is where I'm going to be taking a lot of the trades. I'll update them live on the shows each and every day like we did the last time. Remember, we closed those positions because I said the funding was getting too expensive. And that means one thing to me personally, they're going to flush the market, and ultimately it's not worth holding those positions. And that's why I consequently closed all of those leverage positions, which now in hindsight was an absolutely fantastic decision, because I would have been totally rinsed had I not done that. I flashed some of the profits out of this portfolio already, put it into longer term spot positions, and now I'm prepping and getting ready for the next major trades. Now, one of the biggest trades that I have on the table right now is in fact Solana. It's a spot position. I've taken some of my meme coin profits. I've taken some of the profits from this leverage portfolio, and I moved it onto, of course, a DEX wallet, right? So onto a ledger. I'm riding a big spot position over there, and you'll see it a lot, right? As it says over here from Flood Capital, you can see the Solana Bitcoin chart, right? Breaking out, moving into a range of here. Big move up recently, reclaiming the mid-range level. All in all, it's looking pretty good. And he says over here, Sol BTC is now the new ETH BTC, right? And it's looking very good. He says he thinks this is a good... And that's kind of where we're at within the market now. Is a lot of people are starting to look at Solana BTC as opposed to this ETH BTC chart, which has had no action whatsoever. It's simply been limp, right? Continuously downtrending, chopping you in, chopping you out, and there's just no momentum over here. We will revert back to Ethereum eventually when they take the reins, when they take control, which we said is going to be multiple high highs and high lows and continuation higher, breaking back into the range, which is above 0.055. So keep that in the back of your mind, right? Also, if you look at Jesse Olsen over here, he's looking at Solana versus the Bitcoin dominance, showing potential pending buy, which is flashing right now. Look at that, a big move taking place over here, breaking, even if you, whether you go with the aggressive trend line or the conservative trend line, either way, you can now say convincingly this is breaking both, and you have the candlestick starting to turn green. So it's a Heikanshi type candlestick, where ultimately it gets the averages of the downtrend, and then when it starts to turn green, that's usually where you see the strong trending moves follow on. So all in all, it's really looking good for continuation. And Invest Answers, also a very smart guy, talks about the Pareto principle, right? The 80-20 rule. Winners take all, right? The winners take most. Solana versus everything else. It's the way of the world. It's the way of the universe. The winner takes all. The king reigns supreme, right? Now, I'm not saying Solana is necessarily the king forever. Bitcoin's the king for now. Solana could be the king of the altcoins for now, because if you look at this chart, this is the picture, right? This is your measurement of Solana versus the various different altcoins versus Matic, Ethereum, DOT, BTC. If you look at Algorand, Cardano, AVAX, Internet Computer Protocol, Chainlink, HBAR, just absolutely wiping the floor with each and every single one of them and continuing higher. And that's a mentality that you need to learn to shift for yourself personally. Honestly speaking, it took me one full cycle to move out of that mindset of buying the things that are down 99%, because I think that, well, if they even just go back up halfway, I'm going to make millions of dollars. It never happens. They're down for a reason. They continue to be down for a reason. You need to long relative strength. It's very difficult. I understand it's very difficult, but you have to do it. You have to look for the coins that are going up, and those are the ones that you want to long, especially if they're going up against Bitcoin. Give up, no matter the story, give up on those things that are going down against Bitcoin, and even worse so if they're going down against USD, then you're getting doubly screwed. So a lot of, I'm not going to go through this whole thread because I don't want to waste too much time, but Santiago basically lays the case of non-financial advice over here for why Solana is one of the best protocols out there. 2 big points. One of the most user-friendly retail chains in terms of the user interface, best apps on there. Everybody's building on there. Most of the devs that move there, they see that the risk to reward is very positive. And memes are obviously doing very well there, which has really been the meta for this entire crypto cycle. That's been the main sort of narrative that's driven the cycle. Like previous times, we had the NFT mania, and times before that, we had the DeFi summer. It's really been meme mania. So Solana's catered best to that, which means it's drawn the most liquidity, which means that when these people which understand that they're playing a highly risky casino game decide to take profits, where are they going to take the profits into? Mostly into the native token of that chain, that being Solana. One reason I've had a big position is that. Now, you have the potential for a W formation taking place over here. You can see the W. This is going to be the neckline that needs to be broken above. So yes, of course, we are coming into resistance. Pay attention to this area. We were, of course, long on these wicks down here at the bottom. You guys can go back to those shows if you want for full verification exactly a week ago on the 1st of May. Now we're pushing up. We're up beautifully. It's been a great, great trade over here already, as is even if we were to close it right here, right now. Phenomenal trade. But if we can break and get above 163, there will really be a chance to play out this W formation, at which point you can start to trade this right back to the top side of the range, which is going to be coming all the way up at 206. To put that into perspective, that's giving you another 31% move, and I would expect Solana would outperform the majority of the market in that type of a move. So looking very, very good. We'll get into some of the altcoin requests in just a moment. So smash the like button if you've enjoyed the show so far. Also, let me know in the comment section, start dropping which coins you want. I've seen over here, I can see BlackRock, Saga, FXS, 𝗥𝗢𝗢𝗢𝗢. Okay, we'll bring some of those up. Please start to drop your altcoin requests in there. Smash the like button as well. And then I'll come back to that in a moment. There's been major hacks. Huge hacks. Can you believe it? This guy has hacks. He has control of $182 million worth of crypto assets. He hacks you. He moves it onto Poloniex, and then from there he moves it through to Tornado Cash and washes it basically. So of course, a form of money laundering, moving through Tornado Cash, an anonymous platform that basically will spit out coins on the other side without anybody knowing where the origin came from. So please be careful, guys. I love the comment. I mean, you can't make it up in this space. Very bullish. Like, obviously, this is not bullish. But guys, on a serious note, please protect yourself. A very simple way that you can do it is have a NordVPN or any VPN for that matter. You get 67% discount when you use the link that's in that description below. That's a discount for the Banter fam and Banter community. If you're in other parts of the world, which Incogni accepts, it's part of the NordVPN suite over there, you can get also another 60% discount on Incogni, which will take away your information on the databases that are constantly calling you and selling your info out, right? So you can mitigate your risk against identity theft. Please be careful out there. On top of that, of course, get a ledger, right? That's probably one of the most foolproof ways, a ledger, Trezor, any sort of hardware wallet. I always preach this, at least for the majority of your funds, right? Keep the majority of your funds over there. And if you're somebody that plays around a lot with DEXs, I would even go as far as saying you're probably safer having your money on a centralized exchange, because now the hackers have to try and wipe the SEX, the centralized exchange, which is a very difficult task since they have a lot of resources allocated to, of course, their financial security. So be careful out there. Be careful out there. Okay, let's get into some of these coins. I saw the first request that I read was 𝗐𝗬𝗕𝗓. So let's have a look. I saw it was pulling back early this morning, still is. Is it going to hold the range high? So far, look at that. You are getting a reaction into that zone. It's so beautiful and intriguing how the horizontal levels on charts tend to work. It's really, really amazing. Simply, what is the chart doing? Mapping out the psychological levels of the market, where the psychology shifts, right? And it's showing you this is a psychological level now around this $100 million market cap that they're looking to defend, right, as support. So that's 𝗐𝗬𝗕𝗓. 𝗐𝗬𝗕 not looking too bad over there. Let's go to BlackRock in terms of the memes you guys were asking. Holding that $1.16 million level. Really, I've viewed it like this for quite some time. This was the main range level, and these meme coins follow the Wall Street cheat sheet psychological phases very, very quickly. So we can go to Wall Street. There we go. Let's go to the Wall Street cheat sheet just to show you guys. This is it. I've noticed the meme coins follow this in very, very quick succession. In a matter of a couple of weeks, you can go through this entire. Now look at this. I have to accept all of this stuff. I can't do that. Let's just zoom in over here. There we have it. So hope, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. Let's move it over to this side over here. There we go. Let's look at this. There you go. You played out that entire phase in literally a matter of how many days? Or this is a 4-hour chart. Let's switch on to the daily. Just to give you a little bit of analysis when you are playing with meme coins, how quick you actually have to be. So let's say from there to there, that was 9 bars, 9 days. In 9 days, it played out. I'm actually shocked. 9 days, you went from hope, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria, finished. And now you've gone down into this phase over here, anger. Anger's already complete, right? Anger's complete. Everyone would have been angry at the range lows. For the sake of the example, let's switch back onto the 4-hour time frame. So there you have it. Moving into the anger phase on BlackRock, there it was, anger phase, anger, anger, anger. What is this? Of course, that would be depression, right? Very quickly moving into that low phase, depression, sweeping below the range low. Depression ends. It says over here, well, hopefully none of you did this because we did say any of these things are highly risky. My retirement money is lost. How can we pay for the new stuff? I'm an idiot. Please tell me none of you said that. We always said risk only money that you can afford to lose. When you reclaim the range low level, then that's ultimately where you start to move back out of the depression phase into the disbelief phase, which is this rally will fail just like the rest. So attempting to reclaim that level, all in all, this entire cycle moving back onto the daily has been a total of, let's see, a total of how long? There we have it, 48 days. So you've played out a 4-year cycle that you typically see on Bitcoin in literally 48 days, which is truly unreal. Crazy. Not even 2 months, right? Not even 2 months. All right, let's go back. Other altcoins. What have we got over there? Okay, GUMMY. It looks like you guys mostly are just asking for the more DJ and stuff, but let's have a look. GUMMY. I saw GUMMY was also hanging around near the range lows. So here it is. Okay, there it is, GUMMY. That's it. There's really not much else to say. It seems to be gaining acceptance above the 9 cents region. So that's obviously major support. Resistance coming in at 14, which is quite big resistance. I think if you can close candles above there, it'll probably be inevitable that you're going to move up to 20 cents. I know that they're going to be bringing in staking as well, where you're going to stake GUMMY to qualify for other tokens like, what is it, Baked, and they have all sorts of different stuff out there. I'm not too involved, but I know you're going to stake it, and then you're going to get other tokens. Okay, what else do we have? WIF. Let's actually have a look at WIF. Apologies for making this a bit of a meme coin show, but we saw WIF is one of the top performers. So let's have a look. How's WIF doing? There it is. It's holding the range, the mid-range level, which is significant, closing multiple candles above that level. Let's see if it can continue to maintain that, right? The real buys happen at the range low over here at $2.13. If there is another flush to the downside, that is going to be the opportune zone to gain that entry, right? WIF has had one big move up, consolidation. These things typically move in cycles of 3 pumps, right? Usually you're going to see 3 pumps on these coins. So 1, consolidate or major pullback, whatever it is you want to call it, when it eventually breaks out. The second one is actually usually the biggest one, and then probably another pullback. And then you lead into the final one, which is your blow off top. And that usually marks the absolute end of the cycle. So I think with that being said, let's cut it off over there, guys. We want to keep it relatively short. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Join Whale School, sign up using the link below, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a great day and cheers for now.